ever posted something on LinkedIn that you thought was really good, only to watch it go absolutely nowhere? I had a client ask me about that exact thing last week, and it turns out the answer has nothing to do with posting. At the wrong time or not getting enough likes in the first hour. LinkedIn has changed the way it understands and ranks the content in your feed, and it's actually getting better at figuring out what your post is about, who it might be relevant to, and whether you're bringing something useful to the conversation. Today, I want to walk you through what's changed and what I'd start doing differently because of it. It's showtime. Let's get started. Creating consistent, engaging social media content shouldn't feel like rocket science. I've helped thousands of entrepreneurs go from I don't know what to post to I've got this, using simple, easy to implement steps that make a big difference. I'm Maggie Carey, and welcome to the Painless Posting podcast. For years, we've talked about social media algorithms. Most of the conversation centered around engagement. How many people liked the post, how many commented, how fast it happened. Those things still matter. LinkedIn still pays attention to engagement and activity, but there's a bigger story underneath it now. In March of 2026, LinkedIn announced it was upgrading the way it feed ranks content using what it calls generative recommenders, along with large language models, those LLMs people are always talking about in the AI world. And here's the part I want you to sit with. LinkedIn says these systems are getting better at understanding what a post is actually about and matching that content with people's professional interests. So instead of only asking, how do I get people to engage with this? I want you to start asking a different question. Will LinkedIn understand who this post is for and why it's valuable to them? That's a completely different way of thinking about your content. Let's say you're a business coach and you post something like, here are 3 ways to grow your business. There's nothing wrong with that sentence exactly, but it doesn't tell anyone much. Grow what kind of business? Who are you actually helping? Now imagine instead you write about why service-based industry owners struggle to turn networking conversation into actual sales conversations. Suddenly, there's real context for LinkedIn and for the people reading it. That's why I think one of the smartest things you can do right now is to get more specific, not stuffing your posts with keywords. LinkedIn actually warns against that, but getting clearer. Say what you're talking about. Use the language your audience uses and share what you actually know because you've lived it. LinkedIn has said its feed is looking for what a post is about and whether it provides real knowledge or advice. So, don't make LinkedIn guess and don't make your reader guess either. Here's something else worth knowing about LinkedIn. LinkedIn isn't just evaluating your post on their own. It also looks at identity signals. Things like your workplace, your skills, your professional background, and your location. And it combines that with what you're posting and how people interact with it. So, your profile is part of this conversation too. If your profile clearly says what you do and your content keeps reinforcing that same expertise, you're giving LinkedIn and every reader a much clearer picture of what you're known for. I don't want you running off to stuff financial advisor into every field on your profile. It's really about consistency. If I looked at your profile and your last 10 posts, would I understand what you know and who you help? Now, this is where things get interesting because LinkedIn isn't only trying to decide which of your existing connections should see your posts, but it's also trying to surface relevant content from people you haven't met yet. When that content reflects what actually matters to them professionally, that's an opportunity. I've been telling people for years that your goal on LinkedIn shouldn't just be about collecting connections. It should be about becoming known for something. But there's a catch. Your content has to make sense to someone who doesn't know you already. Something like, I had an amazing conversation with a client today. Here's what it reminded me of. Doesn't give a stranger anything to hold on to. Give them context. Tell them what actually happened and teach them something they can use, even though they've never met you. Now, let's talk about AI on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn followed that March 2026 announcement with another announcement in June of 2026. And this one was pretty direct. They said they're taking steps to reduce the distribution of generic, repetitive, low-effort, AI-generated content. They actually use the term AI slop. And I want to be really clear here because I know some people will hear this and think it means don't use AI at all. That is not what LinkedIn is saying. They specifically said it's fine to use AI to help you write. The problem is when the finished post doesn't have your perspective in it anywhere. Nothing you've experienced, nothing you know that someone else wouldn't. And apparently their systems are getting really good at spotting that. In early testing, LinkedIn says it correctly identified generic content 94% of the time. It's a pretty good percentage. So here's where I think business owners get AI a little bit wrong, especially when it comes to LinkedIn and its new algorithm. You can open ChatGPT or your AI of choice. You type, write a LinkedIn post about the importance of networking, and it hands you back something perfectly fine and perfectly forgettable because you haven't given it anything interesting to work with. Instead, tell it what actually happened. Maybe you went to a networking event and you noticed everyone racing around to meet as many people as they possibly could, except the best conversation you had was with the one person you talked with for 15 minutes. Now you've got something, an observation, an experience, an opinion of your own. Maybe that networking was never about collecting the most business cards. It was about finding the one conversation worth continuing. That's what you hand to AI to help you organize. That's a completely different move than asking it to invent the thought of you in the first place. There's one more piece of this LinkedIn 2026 update worth knowing about. LinkedIn says it's cracking down on engagement bait, along with automated comments and engagement pods, the kind of manufactured activity that's designed to trick the algorithm rather than to start real conversations. So, those posts that end with comment yes if you agree or type info and I'll send you the link, I'd move away from those on LinkedIn. I'm not saying never ask a question. I want you inviting people into the conversation. Just make sure it's a question people would actually want to answer, not one that's really just fishing for a comment count. So here's what I'd actually do with all of this new information from LinkedIn and their algorithm in 2026. Before you publish your next post, read it back and ask yourself one simple question. What am I adding here that couldn't have come from just anyone? Maybe it's something you experienced firsthand. or a question you hear from clients constantly, or something happening in your industry you genuinely disagree with. Whatever it is, that's what the post should be built around. And it's worth making the topic clear enough that both a real person and LinkedIn's algorithm can immediately understand what you're talking about. Because I don't think this update is really about pleasing the algorithm. I think it's pointing us towards something much simpler. Be clearer about what you know, be specific about who you help, and let AI be the assistant that helps you say it, not the one saying it for you. One of the things that I recommend people do as their first step in LinkedIn is to optimize their profile. If you have not optimized your profile, if you haven't even modified your profile in the last, say, 3 to 6 months, or maybe a few years, I challenge you. Go update your profile. Change your picture. Add a new background. Put more context in your About section. Things in your business have probably changed since last time you looked at it. If you need some help, I have a perfect guide for you. Go to linkedinguidebook.com. There, you'll find my guidebook on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and it comes with a companion video too to help you along with some screenshots that I share. So, go to linkedinguidebook.com and make sure you optimize your LinkedIn profile. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and leave a review and share it with another business owner who might find it helpful too. Until next time, keep your posting painless and your engagement powerful.